I'm Francis Vassallo. I come from Malta. I am the president of Francis J. Vassallo and Associates, a firm specialized in taxation structures.
It's very nice to meet you, Francis. Malta is very popular for its sovereign military order of the Knights of St. John. From your CV, I can see that you're one of the Knights. What are the main duties of the Knights?
Well, it's a religious order, Catholic religious order, and the most important duty of the Knights is towards helping the charity, helping the poor and the sick. So we do a lot of work for the poor and the sick. There are about 12,000 Knights all over the world.
It's really honorable. All right, coming back to the theme of the conference, have you noticed the growth of the interest to Asia markets through investors, and how could you explain this growth?
Well, Malta has, since we joined the European Union, and because of our tax structures, there's a lot of interest in using Malta to invest in Asia and vice versa, Asian companies investing in Europe using Malta. The advantages are very great, as I mentioned in the conference. The tax efficiency of the jurisdiction. It is an English-speaking jurisdiction, so therefore has a lot of advantages because of the language. And the tax structure is a very simple tax structure, and because it is also a logistic location whereby in the middle of the Mediterranean a lot of containers come through Malta, and therefore it's very used from a logistic perspective. From a tax perspective, it is extremely efficient. It is one of the most efficient jurisdictions in the EU. It is totally approved by the EU, whitelisted by OECD, G20 and everybody else. So it's a very, very highly regulated country, highly regulated regime, and friendly, tax friendly and efficient. So we have seen a growth, a tremendous growth. The Malta Financial Services industry has grown from 3% of GDP in 1994 to around 15% of GDP this year, and it's planned to go up to 25% of GDP by 2015. So it's a big success story.
I know that there is the double tax treaty between Russia and Malta, which has been signed but not ratified yet. How could you explain why it hasn't been ratified, and by which side has it been postponed, the ratification?
Well, it's a treaty that was signed way back in the 90s. It's from our perspective, it is easy to ratify because we don't need Parliament to ratify a treaty. The Minister of Finance can ratify the treaty once it's approved by the other country. I think the idea behind it, it's stopped with the changes that happened in Russia and the various changes in the tax department in Russia. It's been halted in Russia. We are reactivating it, and we are trying to unblock it, especially putting it back on the front line. Hopefully we should sign it within the next months or so, but it is not up to us. It's up to the Russian government to look at this treaty. It has not been blocked from our end.
In your speech, you have been talking about Hong Kong a few times. So the question is, what are the advantages of signing the double tax treaty between Hong Kong and Malta?
As I mentioned in my speech, we don't really need a treaty by virtue of the fact that we give you unilateral relief and by giving credit on taxes paid elsewhere, and by virtue of the fact that we don't have any withholding tax from our domestic side, we really don't need a treaty. The treaty is there to enhance business relationship between the two countries. The treaty is being negotiated at the moment. It is in the final stages of negotiation, and it should be signed any moment now. It should be a very good treaty. We have just ratified. We have just changed, actually, renegotiated the treaty with China, and that treaty is an improvement on what we have today. I cannot reveal any details of that treaty because it's not yet published, but it is an improvement on what we have today, definitely.
Thank you very much, Francis. Do you enjoy the conference?
Yes, very much indeed. Very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.